Hello again, my name is Jacob Sereno. I'm a second year student here. My two majors are political science and communications. The music video I'll be talking about today is This Is America, written by Childish Gambino, and this was released in 2018. The reason this relates to Global Goal 16 is because this video speaks about equality and more specifically what it's like to be a black person in America, and also sheds light on gun violence. Global Goal 16 is surrounded upon peaceful and inclusive societies, also just institutions as well. So let's get into it. The first term I'll be speaking about today is nonverbal communication. And what this pretty much means is behaviors and characteristics that convey meaning without you having to say a word. And where you can see this, an example of this would be if you were to ask for directions and I were to point and then say that way. You understood more by me pointing this behavior than me saying any words. And that's pretty much what it is. You can find the example and definition on page 121 of the book. But where you can see this in the music video, I mean, pretty much the whole thing is him saying stuff without saying anything. But a specific example would be 1 minute and 56 seconds in. Childish Gambino, he takes an AK and shoots an entire black choir. And it was as clear as day. He was talking about the 2015 Charleston, South Carolina shooting, where a white supremacist opened fire on a black church. And after he shot them, he danced and continued to walk away and act like nothing happened. And he was shedding light on the situation. Like, gun violence has become so normalized, especially for us, that we pretend like it didn't even happen and just ran right over it. And he was saying all of that just by shooting them and then dancing off. He didn't have to say a word. With that, the second term I'll be talking about today is facial displays, and pretty much what that is it is the most important source of information during nonverbal communication, as it is your source of emotion. And an example would be like during sign language, like even a yes or no question, the eyebrows raised, the wide open eyes, and the smile, they tell you more. It can change the entire meaning of a sentence just by what's on your face. And the definition can be found on page 126 and the example on page 128. But where you can see this in the music video is actually towards the end. So 3 minutes and 56 seconds into it, Childish Gambino is running away. He's actually sprinting, and his face, he had this face of terror, like this look like he was scared. And what he was showing was, we have to run for our life to survive. And I thought this was very powerful that he added it, because he made sure the song was over. The song had ended, and towards the end, you can hear Young Thug, which was the feature artist, he's saying, you're just a black man, you're just a barcode, another black man in America. And he was saying, like, yo, like, we're nothing, and we have to run to survive. And he looked genuinely scared by whatever was chasing him in the back, because it was blacked out. But I just thought it was very powerful, and just his face alone showed the genuine fear that most black people feel when they run for their life. The third term I'll be speaking about today is selective attention. And pretty much what selective attention is paying attention to only what you want to pay attention to and ignoring everything else. Like, for example, you're probably looking at the skeleton the entire time and not listening to a word I had to say, thinking, what is he doing with this? That's selective attention. And an example that was in the book, which can also be found on page 162 as well, the definition, would be if an employee like Suzanne was at a workplace and her boss was giving her constructive criticism, and Suzanne only listened to the good things, and the bad things she ignored and went about her day and didn't change. Selective attention. So where you can see this inside the video is 2 minutes and 14 seconds in. Childish Gambino's dancing with the group of other African Americans. They're kids, they're dancing. And in the background is violence, poverty, destruction, police brutality, all that good stuff going on in the background, but they're dancing in the middle. And he's saying, look how I'm geeking out, I'm so fitted, right? What he was saying here was, look at us, look at the good part, ignore everything else. That's what's happening in America. All the other bad stuff, we're not shedding light on, because we're only going to focus on the good thing. Everything else, we could care less about. And he made sure he panned on them and then zoomed out and then looked at everything else, where it's just like, we're not paying attention to what's actually going on and trying to only look at the good things. This is what the media is showing you. Look at them, they're so fitted, they're so nice, they're so clean. But what about 90% of the rest of them? Because there were at least 100 people in the background going through all the negativity and all the damage behind them. So I thought that was very profound that he did that. Selective attention. So after looking at those three terms and doing this assignment, the way I reflect on this is it sheds light on how important paying attention is. Selective attention, facial displays, nonverbal communication. That doesn't happen without you paying attention. And I think that one thing I can pull away from this is you can miss things if you're not truly looking and not truly paying attention. but every single one of these plays an important role. And as for the video, Childish Gambino did a profound job of what it looks like to actually pay attention, because the hidden messages would have been missed if you weren't actually paying attention and listening to what he was saying. So I think that is something very important, and I think that this video like unequivocally relates to the Global Goal 16.